It's a way to share secrets or communion amongst like-minded people.
It just, it has its roots in everything, it seems like. Even our dollar bill, Bo.
If you look at the way that the streets are laid out, it has Masonic
Right.
symbols right in the landscape by the streets. And it's amazing.
Many of the founders of our country were Freemasons. A lot of people, a lot of the guys that signed the Declaration of Independence were Masons. A lot of powerful actors or people in the media have been Masons. John Wayne and Ernest Borgnine and just a lot of people. The ever famous Skull and Bones from Yale that we've all heard about with the Bushes and a lot of very powerful families. And like Illuminati about talking about one world order, which is also on our dollar bill. Theories of global control is affiliated with the Bilderberg group, the world long before America was even come about, you
But
know?
yeah, the Rosicrucian Society started in the early 17th century. And
Gotcha.
it was most of the world through several texts and symbolizing a new uh, esoteric order. It's interesting that you mentioned that I recalled the story that I had read. I had to look this up, but we're talking about how ancient civilizations can be good or evil, and it's not always the entire entity. Sometimes it's just particular players or members. There was something about the Freemasons having started the Civil War.
I think that the Masonries, I think they played a larger existence in the Civil War than we realize. Their motto as Masons is to take good men and make them better. To be a Mason helped you as a business. If you were a businessman, you could network real easily with other people that were Masons because you knew X, Y, and Z about them.
The one thing that I remember hearing is they had Geronimo's skull.
It's what are you doing with it? That doesn't even make sense. That's
Yes.
crazy. It's on a lesser scale, but it's like a lot of these museums have basically stolen artifacts from many of the ancient civilizations from different countries,
Right.
and they're not giving them back. They're holding on to them, even
Right.
though it doesn't really belong to them anymore.
The British Museum still has a huge piece of the Parthenon. They had these frescoes on the Parthenon that they took down 100 plus years ago, and then they shipped them off to Britain. Greece has been trying to get pieces of this fresco back. Greece is the only place they've been robbed. We were walking the Acropolis, and Plaka is downtown district for Athens. But the way that the city's laid out, it's a little confusing. A lot of old streets, a lot of ruins, a lot of rougher parts of town. This huge Greek comes out. He's got no neck because it's all shoulders. And his big old hand grabs me by my neck, and we go to ATM now.
As the newer guys were coming in, they were learning from ciphers or codes. So they were allowing that. So that's changed. I just think there's a lot of change. I think a lot of the things they stood for, a lot of the things I learned in Freemasonry are mind blowing. And I think that kind of knowledge that helps you just basically live life successfully, I think that needs to be shared with male and female. I don't think it should be, I think all races, all faiths, everyone should be included. If this knowledge is so great, which it is, it needs to be shared with humanity. To me, that's so much an exciting part of life of when we discover something that we didn't know before.
The Pentagon has been talking about these UAPs, UFOs that can go from air and into the water, and they have video of them submerging. And they also have these people that have come out now and said we've tracked it from 80,000 feet, which is beyond what we can fly.
That was why I became a Freemason. I wanted to know, what is it? Why it is so captivating that it had billions of, I don't even know how many Masons there are, but you can go anywhere pretty much in the world and you'll meet a Masonic brother, someone that will have your back. Nothing like this would be possible unless we flew to each other's location and videotaped or did whatever we had to do.
They're entitled to use the information gained at the meetings, but not to attribute it to a named speaker. They share secrets basically amongst themselves, and they're just not allowed to disclose who told what, even though they can disclose what was told. There's 4 individuals in the world that hold half of the world's money.
It's ju I have a reason. I'm able to disagree with you. And she's like, "How?" And I said, "Because I've played a doctor on TV." And she didn't find that funny. I thought it was hilarious.
What's better than when you're 1:38 a.m. and you got the buzz from the bar and Taco Bell's open? You know?
Well, right, exactly.
I'm running towards the border. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe what we think we know isn't what we know. Maybe that's not really the way history played out.
I
You know?
guarantee that history as we know it is not how it unfolded. If you don't share enlightenment and then something happens to you or your organization or that knowledge is lost somehow, that enlightenment's gone.
It's like water. It has to run downhill.
Yeah.
You can't
Whenever-
just dam it up. They recently uncovered a library, a vast library of ancient tomes behind a wall.
Oh, wow.
And I think they were saying it's 2,000 years old. Can you imagine the knowledge that is contained in there? We have to embrace technology, and going back to some of those ancient libraries that we've lost. I hope this podcast is stored. I hope that someone 500 years from now is listening to an idiot and Bo Tiffany talk about some wonderful
But
things.
instead of having these preconceived notions about what Vietnam is or what South Korea is or whatever, you actually carry something that's personal because it's your own experience, not something that someone else has told you. Until we come together in a true unity fashion, it's going to be us against them. It's not us against them. It's us. And
Yes.
until there's a lot of evolving that needs to happen.
The secret handshakes, the tokens, the passwords have changed.
Exactly. And
You
so
know-
there is anything like this currently, but wouldn't it be nice if there was? And wouldn't it be nice if it was something that caught on?
There's good and bad sewing circles. Come on. There's people make up, there's churches as best as they are. There's some church groups that aren't great because they're made up of people that have ill intention.
Right.
Yes.
When a country is in financial stress or everybody's in a depression, the thing that they turn to is the war machine because for whatever reason, it's the most profitable, right?
We wouldn't know the good if we didn't go through the bad. I think that world order of just on that, not political, but just the vibe, that needs to be a new world order. And if that's what it means by new world order, I'm all for it because it's like, if peace is our world order, then I'm good with that.
We need something that brings us together globally and gives us something to work for globally that ties us and unites us together rather than dividing us. Currently, our main structure is to divide and conquer.
Maybe heaven's at your feet, basically.
If we're not fighting each other and you all have the same common goals and the same belief systems, wouldn't it be nice if instead of having that as a flaw somehow or another, we were geared towards cooperation and harmony and inclusivity rather than this idea of us against them.
I'm printing, let me look. Yep. I'm printing out the membership cards as we speak.
It's like we're living in Plato's days all over again. We get
exactly.
to have these intellectual conversations and stimulate our minds.
Right. Every time we talk, man, I have no idea how the hell it's going to go. I hope I don't sound like an idiot on some of those. I couldn't, like Wales. Is it a goddamn country or Jesus Christ? My brain